Hi, Charlie Sue here. Welcome to my channel. This is going to be a little different of a video. I feel like I need to use maybe my channel for, I don't know, to say therapy sounds ridiculous, to divulge and maybe just to get feedback, and to also maybe let the people in my life know that I'm not afraid to say the things I'm gonna say. Um, so I was adopted, and uh, I was adopted out of a family that was I was allowed to see as a child. I went and visited, and I was always raised without knowing my father. Like, I was always told, your father left after you were born. And when I was 11, I met him, and he's in a wheelchair from an overdose. He overdosed and someone left him alone, and he stopped breathing. And so when I met him, he was a vegetable, and he got worse and worse until, like, he died. They pulled the plug on him when I was like 20 something. I was in Barcelona, and I was using heroin, and I got an email that said, oh, they finally pulled the plug on Wally. So sorry, my adopted mom sent me that. So anyways, my sister just died, and my sister was like the one person. She's my biological sister. I grew up with a foster sister too, or an adopted sister. She just died, and she was the one person that I was looked out after. Like, she looked out after me, and I looked out after her. We weren't abusive. All of our older brothers, her older brother and my older brothers, both of our older brothers, they would pick on us. Our mother abused us. Well, my mom abandoned me to the family, and then I would go visit them, and she was always like really weird to me, but she was very mean and abusive. Sashi and I didn't know how abusive, but and she cherished my older brother. My older brother came out blonde-haired, blue eyes, and she spoiled him. And he's the one kid out of my biological family that was spoiled, rotten, and loved on. I mean, we were just like, okay, like, all of us were treated differently. And he was raised by this single mom who was an ex-alcoholic, and he was very spoiled. And so anyways, before my sister passed away from cancer, God bless her, I loved her so much, and she looked out after me on the streets of Hollywood. She was like a well-known Hollywood drunk punk. HDP was the name of the gang, and she told everybody, like, this is my brother, don't mess with him. And when I ended up on the streets out there, I was protected and taken care of by all these older punk rockers, and I loved her for that. And because she was abused by my older brothers, when I stuck up for her one time and got beat up by this big Marine because he came on her but for a ride, he gave us a ride, and he's like, hey, so what do I give for the ride, little girl? And I'm like, hey, that's my sister, leave her alone. And she was like, every time I saw her, she's like, thank you so much. I remember that time you stood up for me, and I just can't believe you did that. And I'm like, yeah, anybody would do that. You're my sister. But I didn't know the whole story. And before she passed away, she goes, your brother, I always looked up to my older brother, even though he always picked on me like relentlessly. I always wanted, like, the times that we had that were good, I was always waiting for those. And she goes, Simon's not who you think he is. And she goes, and do you know what it's like to have a mom that tells you when you're 9 years old to leave the house because she doesn't want you hitting on her man? And I was like, oh, that's messed up. And then I thought about it, and I was like, wait, 9? And I didn't question her, and I wish to God I knew to question her now. I didn't question her. I just thought, like, that is really young. And then it hit me later, that's activity, that's pedophile activity. Like, what the hell? Like, my biological mom and my parents that adopted me, my adoptive parents, all are church people. My biological mom, she goes to the ex-hippie church in California called Chapel. I think it's Chapel or something like that. And my parents were Pentecostal, like, speak in tongues, and my adopted parents, and they were very strict and very abusive towards me. The sister that was adopted, my sister, she was spoiled rotten, and like everything she had happen to her, they like if she got in trouble, they did it with kitty gloves and silently. Whereas I was hit in public, I was hit in front of people, I was swatted, I was yelled at, and it was just so different. The treatment was so different that I created a big anger, like rage response to things. Like I would scream and yell. I started to scream and yell because everything was so messed up, and I knew something was going on. I just didn't know what. I was being treated so differently, and my sister said that she passed away, and my brother, my 1 year older brother, who was spoiled and everything. So it turns out he started coming by a while, like 7 years ago. He said he wanted to visit me and rekindle our relationship and stuff. And he attacked me in the motel room and threw me into the hotel that he was staying at out here in San Francisco. Threw me into the bath, landed on top of me. It looked like he was going to try to kill me. And he was in such another place, like he was holding me down. He was like his eyes looked glassed over. And I reached over and he was so in such another place. I reached over and grabbed a mouthful of water and came back and spit it in his face. And it snapped him out. And he looked down at me, and I just waved him like, hi. And he stopped. And then like that night, the next day, I woke up and I didn't know anything what he was trying to do. I thought something weird just happened. I was on the streets doing heroin, so somebody attacking me in a motel, I was like, whatever. I just went to sleep and woke up, and it was my brother, so I figured it was fine. I find out later he was trying to kill me. Why? Because, well, a long time ago I had ruined he was managing a garage of really shit speakers that he had me come on and work with him for. He was this white speaker salesman, a scam guy. People know about it. It's like you go out in a white van, you go like, oh, I got extra speakers that are on the van. We have an inventory, and but they're just like $10 from China, and you sell them for like thousands of dollars. The MSRP says $3,000. You get them to do that in China, but they're shitty speakers. And when I yelled at him for like bringing me onto this sketchy job and left, his whole crew left, and he resented me for that, and he tried to kill me. But that's not the only reason why he tried to kill me. He tried to kill me because he's a killer. And after he did that in the bathroom, he started coming around and flying out here. After he did that in the hotel, he started flying out here and saying, Chad, I almost didn't marry my wife because I had to come clean to her about all the prostitutes I slept with. But she ended up marrying me anyways because we talked about it, we worked about it, we prayed about it, and I got my wife, Chad. I got my wife. And he kept coming out here and telling me this story, and I'm like, you told me that story when I went to work for you a long time ago, like, but I didn't tell him anything. I just was like, okay, this is weird. And he kept doing it. He kept flying out here and telling me this. And I realized he was trying to cover up for something, and I realized he was trying to cover up for what happened in the hotel room. But why? Why was it such a big deal? Because he's killing women. And I find this out because I figured it all out because he sent me a text right after my sister died, the one my biological sister that I loved a lot. And he goes, I saw her in hospice, and he makes up this preposterous lie about her being on Budweiser and drinking and being on fentanyl and trying to offer him some, and he never even went to hospice. So, and he goes, she was almost as pathetic as you, but not really. And he says that to me about my sister the day of her week. So this blows me away, and that sends me thinking about how he was abusive to me as a kid, and all these things, how he's raised by a single doting ex-alcoholic mother who was divorced, and how he wet the bed late and would torture me and animals and stuff and abused me. And I'm like, holy shit, my brother's a killer. Like my brother's probably a killer. And anyways, I called the county he lives in, and I said, listen, if you guys have anybody missing there, let me, that's my brother probably. Sure as shit, he's under investigation, so he's going to go to jail. Anyways, you don't know his name, doesn't matter. And I don't care if he knows I did it. God's on my side. Come and get me, dude. Come and get me now. You're going to jail, Simon. Oh, oh well, I don't care. There's a lot of them out there. You're going to jail, and your kids are going to miss you. and your wife will miss you, but not that much because you're sick and you killed a bunch of prostitutes. And if I go missing, they'll know who it was, and you're going to jail. So I find all this out just now recently. I went through it took about 3 years and to figure everything out. And not only that, but the mother who adopted me, my mom who adopted me, that's like Mary Poppins Christian. She's Pentecostal and everything. She's a full-on pedophile, and I had no idea. I had no idea. I mean, no idea. And it just hit me like all the pieces fell together. And when I accused her of it, she didn't write back like, hell no, I ain't a pedophile. She didn't do anything but say, I don't respond to hate mail, which is, that's what you say when you're gay and people are harassing or bullying you for being gay. That's not what you say when you're denying something. And so she used to have Valentine's Day. She used to celebrate Valentine's Day with me and my sister, and had have a blanket set up in the morning before school and Valentine's Day cookies for us. Why would you do that? That's the only thing she did that for. She didn't wake us up early for anything else. We didn't celebrate, no President's Day, no 4th of July, no Halloween. But Valentine's Day, she'd wake us up early and have us out on the blanket with the little heart. And I mean, she's a pedophile, and she knows it. And she doesn't talk to me anymore because I know that. They stopped communicating with me. They said I wanted to stop communicating, but no. My mom kept sabotaging me and doing all these mean things to me. And I told her, look, I got to take a break, man. I got to get away from you because I love you, but you won't apologize for these things you've done to me. And she just said, oh, we always love you forever. We'll always think of you. And and I'm like, what? They didn't call on my birthday, the next birthday that I had. The holidays came up. Nobody's contacted me at all. They all have, like, everybody's out of my life. I'm completely alone. And I have like no friends where I live. The people here, they just like think I'm a piece of shit for whatever reason. Probably because I'm smart and pretty, and they don't like intelligent, artsy people. They're all thugs, wannabe gangster types, and I fucking hate them. And they steal from me and shit, and they try to get in my room and steal from me. And my life is just really one big challenge right now. And I tell them every night, I say, when you're ready to fucking stick your hand out, I'm ready to fucking stick mine out. Like at any moment you can come in here and you can we can settle the score. I would like to settle the score and just be. None of them will do it. They'd rather harass me from closed doors. So I tell them, fucking, like, let's go then. Like, come on, let's go. Like, come into my room and fight me. Nobody will do shit. And so I'm going through all this stuff, and I just thought maybe if I put it up on YouTube, somebody will say something positive, or I don't know. And besides, like, I'm trying to do what I know about the Gospels on this channel. Like, I want to share what I know about Christianity and how Christianity and Christ Jesus led me to being transitioning. Because I never would have done it before for fear of what my parents put in me. My parents were Pentecostal, hell and fire, and Jesus literally told me, trans activism. He's literally the one who did it. And listen, if it's one person's voice as a Christian, and I've been studying esoteric Christianity forever. It's not like this came out of nowhere. When I got into America after traveling Europe, I was about 27, and at 27 years old, which is like, the 27 Club and the Saturn Return and all that, it has nothing to do with, there's one thing that has to do with, and that's me and my brother Yeshua. I'm Hacha on the other side. I have an extra dimensional body, and I come down to earth once or twice every solar cycle. The last time I was here, I was King David. Okay, I was King David, and that I know from visions and from a long process of studying Gurdjieff, studying esoteric Christianity, Carl Jung, studying the Gnostic scriptures, and applying it to myself. I read all of Maurice Nichols' 8,000-page opus workbook, the psychological commentaries of Gurdjieff and Auspensky. I used to work on myself reading those every day until finally the light hit me at age 32. Is that not a funny number or what? The age Christ died was when the light hit me. And it took me until I was 40, 7 to know, oh, I was here before, and now I know the whole story. It took me like 15 years of visions, traveling, ending back up on the street, getting a place, staying in shelters, all this stuff. And the whole time, at about 30, somewhere in my mid-30s, God came in and was causing me to go through, like, it was like endurance courses on the street. He would make me go from one part of town all the way to the other. He was just trying to like strengthen me and get me to stop using dope. And now I've got a place to stay. I've got an SRO in San Francisco. And damn if I'm not going to record this and let the world be known. I want everybody to know what I'm saying. And if you don't believe me, that's because you're smart. What I'm saying is absolutely fucking crazy. For me, it's the absolute truth, and I know it is. And anybody who could experience it through my eyes would know it is. But if you're not experiencing it through my eyes, then you have to believe I'm crazy. Now, if anybody wants to listen to me and learn from me, then you'll come to know yourself. I am who I say I am, because I can help people wake up if they want to be my friend. You know, it's all about being my friend, though. Like Jesus said, don't call me teacher, for we have been friends. You know, but if I can gain your trust, you know, then you know, people have been blessed by me. I know I am who I say I am, spiritually, extra dimensionally. I am this person, Hacha, and Yeshua is who became Melchizedek, Jesus Christ, and he's also been down a third time as Gurdjieff. He was Melchizedek. That's why it says in the Bible, a priest among priests. Jesus is in Melchizedek, and Melchizedek is in Jesus. That's because it was his first deployment down here. We get sent. And that's why he told my mom, he may be your Chad, but he's my King David at court when I was 18 years old. She's like always telling me the story. He said, he may be your Chad, but he's my David. And she took it as when I grow up, I'd be a strong man of God or whatever. But no, he was defending me there at that moment for who I was then. A drug-taking mystic, a weirdo like he was, you know, bisexual, and just like Jesus was, just like it says in the Last Supper, you know, Thomas was laying his head on Jesus's bosom. Why does it mention that? Well, there you go. Anyways, back to the story. So as I'm coming into this realization about myself and transitioning, I've realized my brother's a killer, my mom's a pedophile, and it's pretty wacky. Like, I want you guys to not associate me with you know, this and then the spiritual stuff. I just needed to tell you guys. I don't even know, I probably shouldn't have gone on about all the spiritual stuff. I wanted this to be a confession. I wanted to tell you guys, like, my life is complicated as hell, and that's why. And you know, it's always going to be like that every time I come down here, just like for Christ. You know, and God told me the reason why I was put into lead, I almost said her full name, the reason why I was put into her arms and adopted, and the reason why was because, one, the family I come from, my biological family, is a bloodline that goes back to people he loves. I'm rectifying the predatorial, pedophile-like nature we morphed into, are the bloodline. I'm rectifying the males in our bloodline by doing this, is what he told me. And the people who adopted me, it was all to keep me hidden until I was blessed to be able to speak out loud like this and to know who I am. Maybe I would have found out earlier, but I had to stay hidden. And I was hidden for a long time. Now the devil can't get to me. Now Lucifer can't do anything to have me offed. And I'm alive. And I'm hearing God like tell me that's enough. So I'm going to stop now. I'm going to edit this. And just wanted to let you guys know, like, the other side of things. That's the reality of my life. For me, it validates who I am. Other people might just say, oh, see, they're crazy. How could they be... how they can be so spiritual or whatever. But you know, that's to me validation. For other people it will be too. For some people it'll be a reason to talk shit, but that's who I am. That's who I am, and I wanted to make a video of it because I'm tired of crying all over the place and being alone in it. So that's what we have YouTube for, is I can reach out and do this, because nobody here wants to reach out. to me and be my friend. So San Francisco's weird, man. Like, it used to be like full of nothing but punks and heroin addicts and bands and bands like Neurosis that were all about subverting the scripture to their own artistic means. Idiot Flesh, Sleepy Time Gorilla Museum, all these bands, Mr. Bungle, Faith No More, all these bands were affected by Americana Christianity and were awesome. And now this place has just become like a reptilian hellhole for isolation and money. And nobody here like has really befriended me except some case managers. And I got a nice neighbor, but he's, older, and I don't have anybody close to talk to, so that's why I'm doing this, just to reach out. And I know it's a long video. I don't know who's going to watch it, but peace be with you guys, and I love you. Take care, and subscribe and like if you feel like it, okay? And thanks to my 21 subscribers that I have so far. You guys are awesome. Bye.